Welcome to track 3 here at day 2 of the Big O tournament, a WFTDA recognized tournament live from Eugene, Oregon. My name is Beautiful Banshee.
I am Johnny Pepper, and we're coming to you live from the Lane Event Center in beautiful Eugene, Oregon.
Yes, and we are in a unique situation where everybody can hear us, whether in the house or via the interwebs. So thank you for joining us, friends, on the stream. We appreciate you. And we are here for the pairing of Boston Roller Derby's Boston Massacre, taking on Sailor City Rollers All-Stars. And let's meet our teams.
From Boston, we got 1-1, Casey McLean. Number 120, Electrocute. Number 121, that's Agent Mauled Her. Number 1845, Little Pain. Number 2, MC Slam Her. Number 207, Cruel Out Lewis. Number 2089, Small Fox. Number 21, Emily Nolan. Number 211, Lock Test Monster. Number 43, Caitlin Monahan. Number 451, Rage Bradbury. Number 517, Tiger Eye. Number 749, Wednesday Adams. Number 8, Aubrey Planets. Number 90, Little Something. They are coached by Smite Ochondria, Obstinate, Bo Tiny, and Shirley Temple.
All right, and we have these Sailor City Rollers. We'll meet them in a moment. Currently, your jammers of note kicking it off for Boston. They are in blue, number 11, Casey McLean.
Going up against 3-2-1? 4-2-1.
We have 137, Rosetta Stoned in the star for Sailor City in white.
But Casey McLean is out front and lead.
And of course, the pack in turn 1 currently. We're seeing lots of action going to the lines.
Rosetta Stone looking around for a pivot with that star stash, keeps it stashed, breaks through for the initial.
And per command of the Boston bench, the jam is called. We're seeing 4 points for Boston. And here are your Sailor City Rollers All-Stars: 06, Huevo, 07, Jungle Julia, 101, Teniente Dan, 12, Perla, 13, Capitan Barbosa, 137, Rosetta Stone, 1971, Romo. 1984, we have Amanita. 2, Kaku. 2290, Manos de Tijera. 479, finish it. 87, Roja. 74, Ataxia. 8, Francesa. 9, Caraman.
Good job. Meanwhile, back to the action on the track. Finish it. The jammer record for Sailor City gets the lead, picks up some points, and calls it off.
I have a feeling, Johnny, that we are going to see a lot of back and forth here. Of course, very closely paired. We have the number 33 ranked Boston Massacre, the number 37 ranked Sailor City Rollers All-Stars. We are in for a treat.
Roja's going to be the jammer record for Sailor City. That is Little Pain going to wear that star for Boston.
And Roja in the white star for Sailor City. We're seeing a bit of a kerfuffle prior to the pivot line, with everybody getting all mixed up going to the lines. Lead jammer is still open.
Still trying to get that pack across the pivot line.
And we're seeing a brace 2-all of Lilsum and Emily Nolan, braced by Aubrey Planets in the back. Meanwhile, lots of shuffling.
Both teams locked down on defense.
It really is a flurry of red, white, and blue out there, Johnny.
It's a very patriotic thing there.
Yes. And a testament to strong defense, really just keeping the pack from accelerating.
Pack almost gets to turn 1.5. A lot of recycling down there to turn 1. Being drawn back almost as far as the jammer line, as the Rydell jammer line.
Yes.
No, it's the Derby Warehouse jammer line.
Oh, that's right. Different track.
I'm on a different track now.
But responsible for that drawback, that would be Kaku from Sailor City. But Lil Payne with the apex hop in turn 4. Though take it to the outside, right back at it. Both jammers constantly being cycled.
Kaku playing that defense very, very well today.
And we are seeing Kaku off to the penalty box. That is in this case, we do not have a penalty box sponsor, so just the jammer line sponsor.
We can call it team announcer penalty box.
Team announcer penalty box.
I like that.
We never know what comes out of our mouths if it'll inspire the action, right?
Absolutely. Okay, up next on the Derby Warehouse jam line, we've got number 2089. That's Small Fox going up against number 12. That is Perla.
And even though the jam is on, and I always like to say, the jammers have been released. However, not if the pack says so. Small Fox able to spring out of that quagmire, lead to Boston's credit. And we see Monahan, Boston's pivot to the penalty box.
Small Fox getting knocked out, but recycling very, very quickly. And you know, Boston did play earlier today.
Yes, they did. It was a hard-fought game against Dock City. I don't have the final score in front of me, though. They did not walk away with the win this morning, though yesterday they had a 15-point victory over Sacramento.
Well, that's very, very cool.
And from what I hear, Sailor City and Sacramento met earlier, and it was just a 7-point game.
Oh, wow.
Incredible. And those 8 points from Boston take them to 12 over Sailor City's 4. And we are only about 6 minutes in.
Very early in the first half. Coming up next on the Derby Warehouse jam line, we got number 11, Casey McLean, going up against 137. That is Rosetta Stone. I know.
Well, see, the thing that's great about the name Rosetta Stone is that I have an announcing friend.
Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone with Sacramento.
Hi, Rosetta.
Yes. Hey, Rosetta. How's it going? So just a shout out to her, but also Rosetta Stone putting in the work right now, as is Casey McLean out in turn 1.
That's a good segue. Putting in the work.
Well, it's true. I mean, what else can you say about this except for oof?
Happy Derby Day, everybody.
Yes. And any day with roller skates is a great day.
Yes, it is.
And speaking of having a great day and putting in the work at the front of the pack, currently a twosome of Adams and Lil Something end up pulling a penalty. It is a high block call against Rosetta Stone. So that leaves a power jam for Casey McLean and Massacre. And I do believe this is probably the longest out of any of the games I've called this weekend it's taken to acquire lead status for any team, about 1 minute and 3 seconds.
I seen one leaderless jam yesterday.
Right. Wow.
That was
intense.
A long 2-minute jam. A very defensive
grueling
thing that was to watch. It was in a men's game.
Now, currently, speaking of grueling, the defense from Sailor City, 101 Teniente Dan. And Adams actually with the hip hit on Teniente Dan, sending them out. Jam is called.
But not before 4 more points are awarded to Boston. 16-4, 21-45 left in this first half.
So we had mentioned Sailor City Rollers. They are all-stars, coming from Buenos Aires, Argentina. And they asked me to give a shout out to their B and C teams. That would be the Tsunami Bombs and the Sea Monsters. I see what you did there. Full-on commitment to the nautical theme. I like it.
Absolutely.
So thanks for all of you watching. Finish it is the Sailor City Jammer. Sailor City in white up against Loch Ness Monster for Boston. Boston in blue.
Boston in blue. Aren't they usually?
Sometimes.
Except for the basketball team, they're green.
They have white uniforms too, Those got worn earlier. They were sweaty, okay?
Every time the Patriots beat us, they're wearing blue.
Johnny.
Back to the action on the track.
Exactly. Roller derby, my preferred sport.
Finish it is out front and get pointed at.
Okay, in the back stretch, we're seeing both teams putting the lockdown. We have pivot-to-pivot contact happening between number 8, Francesa, and 43, Monahan. It appears we have a penalty, cutting the track, assessed to Loch Ness Monster, having a sit in the penalty box. So finish it with the power jam.
Finish it does get through that wall of blue, picking up 4 points on that pass.
It seems to me that Finish It's directive is very simple and straightforward.
I think the coach is telling her just run, 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 run.
Yes. Well, also for the power jam at hand. Monahan and MC Slammer, along with Brad Mulder, regrouping at the front, doing what they can to put the brakes on Finish It.
Sham's going to go for another 7 seconds. Finish it with an apex jump, finishes it.
A slide with a big thumbs up. If you finish smiling, there you have it. It's better.
They're here to have fun. And you know what? When you fly 23 hours to someplace, it's really cool to have fun when you get there.
Most definitely. That would be the point.
Also, with that in mind, they did travel a long way to get here. If you could buy some of their merch, that would be really, really cool.
Yes.
Everybody needs a Sailor City t-shirt.
Yes, you do. And any gear that you no longer want, they'd love to take it off your hands. It will aid in the Sailor City Rollers training programs.
We'll get some derby down in Argentina. Meanwhile, back up on the track, it's Roja wearing the star for Sailor City. Little Payne donning that star for Boston.
We're seeing Lil Sum off to the penalty box. So 1 down for Boston's line. Adams working the drawback as the pack gets a little snugly in turn 1.
That wall of white in the back of the pack is holding pretty strong right there.
Exactly. Hoping to work what I like to call a seam ripper, but both jammers seem to be getting caught up just a little.
Little Payne on the toe stops, trying to just turn around and find a hole somewhere in that tripod in the back.
Emily Nolan to the penalty box at Jam's end. Oh no, Jam is not done. My bad. A little whistle bleed.
Yes. Here at the Big O, we're in close proximity to other tracks, so you might hear a whistle from time to time that doesn't stop our play.
Very true.
So listen to Johnny Pepper say, those 4 whistles brings this jam to an end.
Okay, we have Aubrey Planets attempting the drawback on Roja. Roja taken to the outside. And of course, Lil Payne still working up against the 2 wall of Sailor City blockers. Though they are well aware now that little something has the star.
Track cut called on the pivot from Boston. And those 4 whistles brings this jam to a close.
So the 4 points for Sailor City on that scoring trip created a lead change, bringing them to 19 points, just 3 points over Boston's 16.
So if you're playing along out there, go ahead and hydrate. Everybody needs to be hydrated.
Very true. Oh,
And it's good for you. I do. Would you like some?
No, I think I'm going to grab a drink at the half, though. We'll see. Little halftime. But speaking of Lil, we've got Lil some with the not on the track at the moment due to the power start, but Perla for Sailor City out there pushing the pack into what you referred to as turn 1.5 or 1.5, which I appreciate that. I'm going to adopt that.
I like that turn 1.5.
It is 1.5. It brings a little math into it as well.
Sure enough.
And Perla swept to the infield at turn 2. Though able to proceed with a little help from number 8, Francesa. 44 seconds it took for lead to be declared.
But once it did, quick work getting around Rapak, coming back through. But there's 2 people of Boston up front and playing defense like they don't have tomorrow.
And that braced 2 wall, though, from Sailor City in the back. I mean, just intense and almost infallible, though there were a couple of penalties. We see a direction to gameplay call, and that's on number 1984, Amanita.
Props to the work of Couliet Lewis and Agent Mulder in the defense in that last jam.
And in addition to being on the roster for Boston Massacre, both of those skaters are members of Team Massachusetts.
No way.
Yes, many members on that roster.
Well, good skaters congregate together. Rosetta Stone going to be the jammer record for Sailor City. That is 11, Casey McLean. Put the star on her brain bucket for Boston.
Okay, so that is right. You are seeing just one blocker. That is the lone pivot from Sailor City on the track due to a few penalties. We see that there was a bit of turnaround. One blocker was standing and 2 others sitting, though now we do have Sailor City's pivot having a seat while the others are resuming, but 4 points for Casey McLean.
Woohoo! Casey McLean getting lead and putting points on the board with that Star-Spangled Bank bucket.
Sailor City working the catch mid-backstretch, while Boston holding it down and just ever so patiently.
It takes a lot of patience to play roller derby. It really, really does.
Oh, it most definitely does. And if you don't time things correctly, and that means not just on a speed end of things, just control.
Sometimes you have to wait for that hole to open up as well.
Mm-hmm. You do.
That's why they call it a virtue.
Yes, most definitely is.
I love to be virtuous.
Look at you over here. Virtuous Johnny Pepper.
Shh. Don't tell anybody you heard that from me.
I mean, you said
I got
it
a
on the
reputation to
microphone.
uphold.
Listen, you. This is being internationally broadcast on the interwebs. That is your
Oh,
own
no.
doing.
My secret's out. Hi, Mom.
Now, we've seen that not only is there a lot of line action, but there has been a star pass on Sailor City's end of things. And I do see that the pivot, number 1971, Romo, has the star in hand, though it was obvious to Boston's team. So a few points more, just a few, a total of 12, putting Boston at 28 points, just 1 point ahead of Sailor City's 27.
I hope we swap leads about 15 more times in this game.
And that's exactly how it will be. at least just based on what we've experienced thus far, we're officially past the first quarter of the game.
Officially.
Officially, even though I know that quarters are not an official measurement of roller derby, but if we're looking at measurements of time, that's how I do. But Lochtest Monster, that's how she do. Taking lead over Sailor City. Finish it, jammer of record.
Sailor's going to lose their pivot to the penalty box.
And Boston ends up losing Lochtest Monster due to a back block call.
Back block.
Well, we do know the clarifications.
I do.
This year, obviously, for safety reasons, better for everyone on the track. But at the same time, too, you have to be even more careful.
Finish it coming around on a scoring pass. But runs into that persnickety Boston defense at the front.
I couldn't have described it better myself. Persnickety is perfect. Persnickety perfection.
What was that thread the other day about a thesaurus or something like that?
Oh,
yeah.
my tweets.
Oh, you know, I studied a little bit on the airplane.
But isn't it Val Capone who says that there you have
Come
it.
on out, words.
Thesaurus is an announcer's best friend, and so is perhaps getting your tongue out of the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Babies are cool too.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Finish It's out there putting points up on the board, putting Sailor City in the lead. All my Sailor City fans, where you out there? Yes. Yes, I love both of you.
Both of you. But you know what? There are many more who are watching live on this broadcast of the Big O International Roller Derby Tournament. So we would love to hear from you. If you are on social media, Twitter, Facebook, but Twitter, usually Derby Twitter gives us some pretty good feedback. Hashtag Big O 2019. And then there's the option for hashtag Big O Cats. Hashtag Big O Dogs.
Yes, we want to see your cats and dogs.
Or other pets, too. That's fine.
And I guarantee you, everybody that's watching in Argentina is cheering.
Yes, absolutely.
And my two friends out there.
Whopping two amongst many. I think there are more than that. But it sounds like a challenge.
Next up, we got Rage Bradbury. We're in the start for Boston. Finish It's going to stay out there for Sailor City, but stay out there is what I mean by starting in the penalty box.
Now, Brad able to break out of the pack. Lead to Brad's credit. And we'll see what happens here. And just coasting backward, hippity-hoppity through the pack. 4 points up for Boston Massacre. And elevator doors, courtesy of Sailor City, drawn back by Kaku.
Finish it out of the box, plays a little defense, tries to skate around, but that jam gets called off. We got a timeout on the floor, and this timeout is brought to you by Rydell. Big O is brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris, the performance you demand and the comfort you've been missing. Yes. Also, by Hit This Derby Gear, the best little skate shop in the whole wide world. Before you hit the track or the park, hit this.
What was it?
I was just doing a commercial. Why?
Yes, you did, but it was so natural.
Well, you know, I'm trying to sell stuff here. That's my job.
I know. And those 7 points from Boston turned it into just a 4-point game, 39 to Sailor City's 43. So a lot to do on both ends of this.
Also, a shout out to our good friends at the WFTDA. Tickets go on sale June 17th, 2019. For more information, go to WFTDA.tournaments/tickets. I think I got that right. Continental Cups and Championships this year.
Yes. And,
are you going to any?
Maybe. We'll see. I have my sights set on, even as a fan, attending Champs in Montreal. So I've never been, and might as well, right?
Absolutely. You know, I went last year in New Orleans as a fan, and it was just awesome.
I hear it was a good time. And currently, what does not look like a good time is getting caught up in that Boston wall in the back. That is Roja facing off against Boston, but up front, Small Fox working against equally difficult Sailor City folks, but lead to Roja, able to sustain and persevere through that wall.
Roja is out front. Was that a stash or was that a pass?
No, it looked like a stash to me. So 4 points up for Sailor City. That bolsters their lead to 8 points, 47-39.
7.5 minutes left in this first frame.
We'd like to thank Eugene Cascades and Coast. Real adventure, real close. Plan your Oregon vacation at Eugene Cascades and Coast.
Casey McLean is going to be the jammer. Record for Boston. That is Rosetta Stone wearing the star for Sailor City.
So the pack drawing out and moving ever so quickly together again, but it's that constant flux we're seeing. Rosetta Stone pushing up into turn one against a cube of Boston blockers.
Good track awareness by Romo to get that bridge that they needed to keep that pack spread out. I love track awareness in my blockers.
Lead going to McLean after powering through the seams of Sailor City's wall, though no small undertaking. And we have a little one-on-one shoulder dance between Casey McLean and Romo, forcing the call off, much to Romo's delight.
6:20 left in this first half. Jam 13 in the books. Only 5 points separating these two teams. Where are my Derby fans at right now? All right, see, two friends got two more friends, and they got two friends, and we got some Derby friends out there.
That's right, and they all lined the track. How nice is that?
That's sweet.
Yes.
Thank y'all for coming. Perla is jammer record for Sailor City. That is Loch Test Monster. Wearing the star for Boston.
Perla working up against that Boston wall in the back, though things coming together and shifting to the lines both in front and back. Ever so slowly heading for turn two.
Yeah, but they're spread out a little bit.
That's true, but Amanita and company at the front of the pack able to take Loch Test Monster to the outside and cycle back in front of our Derby Warehouse jammer line. Don't forget derbywarehouse.com for all of your Derby gear needs.
That was quick. I like that. Throwing those ads in there in the middle of a call.
I do what I can. But a cutting the track penalty assessed to Perla. So it is a power jam for Loch Test Monster and Massacre.
I want to give some props out to Captain Barbosa playing defense in there for Sailor City in this jam. Do like to give them blockers some love every chance I get.
Most definitely, because blockers need love too.
Absolutely.
I speak from experience. And we're seeing Loch Test Monster get taken out. And after some intense commanding from the bench, the jam is called.
4:10 left in this first frame. 47-42. 5 points between these two teams.
Woo.
I hope we have at least one more lead change before halftime.
Well, perhaps you'll get what you wish for.
It might happen in jam number 15 coming up.
So currently a power start for Rage Bradbury, a.k.a. Brad, out there. And the awkward blocker sandwich seems to work with that little bit of O taking the space away from Sailor City.
Meanwhile, Perla's out of the box and back into the fray. Hard hit down there as Rage hits the floor. bounces back up and recycles on turn 1.
Now, Johnny, Brad is known for what we coined the term casual apex jump back at Lobster Roll earlier this year. And that was not so casual. I think that apex jump had no chill.
That was a thump down there on the floor, in case you don't see that.
It does happen, but we do see a penalty assessed to Brad. So she'll have a seat in the box and a power jam currently for Sailor City's Perla. We have that front row seat here in turn 4. Perla does get past Adams, the last line of defense for Boston. And Johnny Pepper, just to let you know, I had done a shout out to Adams's dad yesterday on the broadcast. And she says to me this morning, she goes, "Oh yeah, he heard it." And he said, "How did they know I was watching?" Well, all of the eyes know. We're everywhere.
We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We can see you. And thank you for watching roller derby.
Yes, we appreciate the support. All right, and speaking of support, we are seeing a pair of Sailor City blockers. That's right, number 1971, Romo, along with 7074, Ataxia, doing what they can to hold Brad. Perla able to make a scoring trip, adding 4 to the Sailor City tally.
Those 4 whistles are going to bring this jam to a close. 1:42 left in this first half. Not before 7 points are awarded in that jam to Sailor City. 4 points to Boston brings the score to 54-46. Small Fox going to be the jammer record in this next jam, which could be the last jam of this first half. And that is Is it Rosa? It is Finish It.
Yes. And both jammers appearing to get caught up right now. They getting shifted together almost to the infield, though. There we go. A little more action as both blocker lines working drawbacks or doing some lateral motion. We see a forearm call on number 8. That would be Francesa of Sailor City. Lead is Finish It.
Finish It says, "That's okay. My pivot can go to the box and rest up for a second. I got this."
Now, Johnny, I'm not sure about you, if you have any affinity for video games, specifically those maybe of the 1990s.
I might have played a game or two.
Okay.
I might have caught some stars or some bananas, or maybe...
Okay, well, this is a little bit more violent. I'm thinking Mortal Kombat.
Oh, no, I didn't do that.
Okay, because anytime we say finish it, I want to say finish it.
Finish it.
Because instead of finish her or finish them, yeah.
I'm totally cool with that, and I'm sure everybody at home is cool with that.
Well, I might have to use it in proper context later, but it's fun.
Get on Twitter, use the hashtag BigO2019, and tell Beautiful she can do that.
Well, I can't help it. I actually do currently have an operational Sega Genesis, and yes, I sometimes travel with it because I have fun wherever I go.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. I really hope somebody's on Twitter right now giving you permission to say that for the whole second half.
I
think it'd be super cool.
Well, you know who would totally back me on that? Crimson Alchemia.
I got your back, too.
I know.
I'm saying,
no, I know. And you were subject to some post-lobster roll corn shenanigans, I understand, when you were at Clover Cup. So,
yes.
You know, all circulating in that Derbyverse. But back to the track.
Roja is going to be the jammer record for Sailor City. Casey McLean going to be the jammer for Boston in this, the last jam of the first half. Casey McLean finds a hole, jumps out front, and is declared to lead. Meanwhile, Rojas getting knocked out to the inside and drawn back by number 90. That is little something. Four points awarded on that pass to Casey McLean. Only 5 points separating these two teams. The period clock has expired. The jam clock, however, has 1:15 left on it. And this is going to go as long as KC says so.
And seeing the pack be rather tentative, though it is Casey McLean able to make the scoring trip 4 more points, a total of 8. And again, thanks to all who are joining us, out in the Derbyverse via the interwebs on our live stream. Scarlett O'Hurtya, I see you.
Thank you, Scarlett.
Yes, thank you, friend, and
Miss
everyone
you
else
bunches.
watching.
See you soon. Give the puppies an ear scratching for me.
All right, and we are seeing maximum effort there from the pivot on Sailor City. Francesa, though picking up a penalty as a result. We know it's not easy being the pivot or a blocker sometimes because sacrifices tend to be made.
12 points awarded so far in this, taking Boston into the lead.
Nolan coming out of the penalty box, but then working a slight pick. Scoring trip completed for both Sailor City and Boston. So 3 points for Sailor City's All-Stars versus Boston 16. So 62-58, you got what you wished for, Johnny.
Absolutely, I did.
Only 4 points ahead. So period 2 will bring many gifts, I believe.
Absolutely. Go refill your beverage of choice. Get you something to eat. Come on back in about 9 minutes. I'm Johnny Pepper.
And I'm Beautiful Banshee. We'll see you shortly.
Peace. Well, we're looking at some graphics up on your screen right now.
Points per jam specifically. And the highest scoring jam for each team as far as points, 16 points. They are tied. So let's see that. I'm missing one thing there, but it does appear no lead on one jam caused Sailor City early on to pick up 16, but then Boston about halfway, I would say about a quarter into period 1, able to put up 16 as well. And following that, Sailor City had a jam with 11 points, and Boston had one with 12. Otherwise, we're looking at small builds under 8 points apiece.
Absolutely. And the score right now, 62-58. We still got 30 seconds left before we get back to the action on the track. I want to give some love to our officials out there. Piratical, Kieran Duncan, Ellie Mental, Nacho, Duke Skellington, Graffy, Extra Crispy, Jack Attack, Rockin' Buddha, Bola Constrictor, Neutron Scar, Time Lord, India Pale L, Terabyte, and Eagle Eye Mary. Thank you so much for what you do for us. It wouldn't be official without you.
Absolutely.
So we're officially giving you some love.
Woo! And you know what? The officials are actually receiving a great deal of love throughout the Big O weekend, especially on Derby Twitter. So, folks, people are recognizing your contributions to the game.
The world's coming to an end. Everybody's being nice on Twitter. Woo-hoo!
Hey, we'll take it while it lasts,
Yes,
right?
we will. Back to the action on the track at hand. Sailor City does have lead. That is 127, Rosetta Stone.
And Casey McLean in the penalty box currently. So that is why it is a power jam. Though we do see the Sailor City pivots. Francesa having a seat in the penalty box as the pack picks up a little bit of speed going in the backstretch, but cycling back into turn 2. McLean being met by Romo and company. And that company would be Amanita. And someone I can't see at the moment, but that's why I said and company. But a hit on Rosetta Stone to the infield by Wednesday Adams, but to that edge of the pack, no more zone of engagement for you. 4 points up for Sailor City. We are currently tied at 62 all.
Tie game.
And it not only is it a game of speed, it is a game of smart clock management and many other things, but we will leave the bulk of strategy and stats to those of you at home.
Absolutely.
Point.
And I hope y'all are at home keeping score, acting like a producer role. You can do the hashtag Big O 2019. Coach announcers, we'll see what you do and maybe even give you a shout out.
And the 5-point jam from Sailor City, 63-62, with Sailor City on top by 1 point. And Small Fox out there repping Boston with the star, but in white for Sailor City, finish it. And I got permission from Sailor City's Twitter for that, so just letting you know.
Yes, we do have permission. That's why I was waiting for you to go for it.
I mean, you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile and bust through that door just
Guess
like
who's
the Kool-Aid
lead?
Man. Oh, finish it. You know, we don't want to
Yes, we do.
bite
We
that
do.
off.
We do want to.
No, we do
I do
not
want to.
burn it to a crisp. Let
Why
it
else have it?
Let it stay hot while it is. But right now, we do have one blocker in the box for Sailor City.
You're not going to be trending that way.
Well, I'm sorry. You know,
You
my
have to
priority
tell them
is
and
to
tell
call
them
the
and
game.
tell them and tell them. That's marketing 101.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
Ataxia having a sit in the penalty box. But meanwhile, we've got Brad versus 587 Roja on our derbywarehouse.com sponsored jammer line. And of course, make sure you go to that website, derbywarehouse.com, for all of your derby needs. They have all of the accoutrement you could possibly want.
Free shipping and returns.
Ooh. And lead declared, it is Brad getting cycled back to turn 1, and we're seeing Roja caught up within the braced 2 wall of Boston.
That defense is locked down over there in the top of the turn.
Capitan Barbosa with the sweep out and just constantly cycling. There is a rotating amoeba there working on Brad. Meanwhile, slightly more static approach from Boston's blockers. 4 points up. Oh, I apologize. No, not 4 points. That was the initial.
That's just lead.
It took 55 seconds for lead to be declared. Though a cutting the track penalty assessed to Brad, but right behind Roja off to the penalty box as well. So we'll have that quick little switcheroo. Pack in the back stretch.
Rageberry working hard against that wall of white that is in the back of the pack.
And we're seeing some strong breaks from Lil something. Pack being pushed out, extending across the backstretch.
Meanwhile, Roja working hard against that wall of blue. That's in the back of the pack. We got a track cut call. On Rage, that's going to be a power jam for Roja. And that's going to come to an end. That's going to freeze the Boston Jammer in the box. It will be a power start for Sailor City in jam number 4. Perla jammer record for Sailor City in this power start situation.
I know, can't wait to see what happens here. We see that the jammer line, our Derby Warehouse jammer line, is getting a bit of breathing room in the pack, you know, giving it some space. So we'll see as Perla hits the pack.
Perla looking for a little help trying to get through that wall of blue that's in the front of the pack.
Sailor City attempting to get a word that I don't necessarily care for, but a goat in Cruliat Lewis, but Crew was not having it.
High
And
block called on Perla, going to the penalty box.
So Power Jam in favor of Rage Bradbury. Brad acquiring a lead. The Sailor City line one short. Oh no, I just see one shifted elsewhere. So in full effect, 4 blockers from Sailor City hoping to make a kill on this penalty, though we will see. And Brad says, I don't think so. 4 points up for Massacre. Monahan serving as a striped wrecking ball.
Coach Smythe telling them, wrap it up, wrap it up. Now, both of these tripods have got blockers going through it, making holes, but they're still holding. It's crazy.
It's that constant state of motion and just relentless. Speaking of relentless, the hit from Monahan, though, does send Monahan to the penalty box. We see the prompted call-off. And 7 points for Boston, taking them to 73, a 6-point lead to Sailor City 67.
Gonna give a quick shout out to the Eugene Weekly. Eugene is Lane County's local alternative free newspaper. Your insight into Eugene can be found online and at eugeneweekly.com. Rosetta Stone, the jammer record for Sailor City. That is Casey McLean. Wearing the star for Boston. We've got a high block call. I didn't see who. I didn't see anybody leave the track.
And currently it appears Aubrey Planets to the penalty box. Though Emily Nolan and Wednesday Adams holding it down at the front of the pack, eventually having to release Rosetta Stone. McLean did secure lead. 3 points up for Boston, taking them to 77, bolstering their lead to 10 points over Sailor City.
We got a timeout on the track, and this timeout is brought to you by Derby Warehouse. Visit derbywarehouse.com for all your Derby gear needs with free shipping and free returns. And thanks to Derby Warehouse for sponsoring our jam line. We got a dazzle of referees out in the center of the track.
They really do dazzle, even without sequins. Though today, did you see, who is it? Puns and Roses is sporting a spectacularly sequined jacket.
It's awesome.
Oh, it was great. I had just met him. I walked up to him. I said, "Are you Puns and Roses?" He says, "Why, yes, I am." And I said, "I love your jacket. May I touch it, please?" Because it is sequined, and I'm not sure if it's Derby Kiss brand or not, but it's along those lines where you touch it and it changes from one sequin to the other. And I thought it would be a little awkward if all of a sudden I started walking up to him and, you know, brushing my hand up and down the sleeve of his coat. It might be a little strange. I mean, I can work with that. I'm awkward, but not that awkward. You got
consent. You did the right thing.
I did. Consent is key, even with hugs, too.
Small Fox, the jammer record for Boston and for Sailor City. It's...
Well, Sailor City, finish it. Yes. Although, finish it not lead jammer.
No pass, no penalty.
Adams to the penalty box. Small Fox working it out. Though 4 points for finish it.
Tie, well, no, 71. It almost looked like a tie game for a second. I got real super excited.
And I just thought of something. If only we had somebody who could make the noise.
Yes. We do. And you did.
Oops.
Thank you so much. Meanwhile, Small Fox with the lead. Pack is here is called. But it didn't look like it was there.
And great communication with her bench. Small Fox picks up a total, we'll see here, a C8, but then I see an additional 3. So I'm just waiting for confirmation, but I think that 3 is what took it to 8. So a total, 8 for Sailor City, 3 for Boston. So Boston able to hang on to a 5-point lead, sitting at 80 to Sailor City's 75.
5 seconds called on the floor. Roja is the jammer, record for Sailor City.
Lil Payne out there for Boston.
Little Payne was hiding behind my screen.
Yes, well, I could see just over the top of mine, and I went, oh, okay. She's sneaky, we know.
That was sneaky.
Well,
But not enough to get a red star yet.
Nothing wrong with the element of surprise.
And what I mean by I say red star, they get a red star for whoever gets lead on our monitor.
Oh, I didn't
And
catch
look
that.
at that.
Thank you. Sorry about that. We do have 1984 Amanita to the penalty box, so we'll see a 4-3 back advantage for Boston heading into Jam 8 of period 2.
What's the good word?
Well, the good word, the bird is the word, didn't you know?
Absolutely, I
mean,
did.
granted,
Twice as nice.
No bird fights in this game, thankfully, but last night it was a different story with Falcon Punch and Scald Eagle. But the Big O is brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. The performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing, Rydell Solaris.
For more information, go to rydell.com. Back to the action on the track. It's Rosetta Stone wearing the star for Sailor City. Casey McLean wearing the star for Boston.
And we're seeing the shuffle to the outside for Casey McLean. Lead has been achieved, or dare I say the achievement unlocked. Front of the pack, we're seeing
Casey,
number
owner of the
8,
red star.
Francesa, yes, receiving the star pass, though not on the helmet. But Lil Sutton, Aubrey Planets, and Wednesday Adams are wise to that, and they are doing their part to put the brakes on.
Star astronaut, they're playing defense.
And something that I've noticed, specifically, Lil Sutton and Wednesday Adams, there was an illegal contact penalty assessed to Lil Sutton, so she'll have a seat in the box, but jam is called by Boston. But I love the finagling, amongst the blocker wall. And seeing anything for, like, a link, not necessarily a link, but a block, like, even to the armpits of their fellow blockers. I got a kick out of that. You don't see that with everyone.
No, you don't.
But a 7-point lead for Boston after just 2 points on that jam takes them to 82 over Sailor City's 75. All right, we are up and running at Jam 9 in full effect. Small Fox versus Perla off of the Derby Warehouse jammer line, derbywarehouse.com for all those Derby gear needs, but lead for Small Fox.
Perla is out of the pack on her initial.
There was a star pass from Perla to Romo real quick. As we do see that, that was a little sneaky move, but no points. 1 point, perhaps. No, make it 2.
2
for Romo. So sneaking in there, picking up 2 points for Sailor City, 4 for Boston, 86-77. Boston remaining in lead.
This timeout is brought to you by the WFTDA.com Continental Cups. And if you're wanting more information on WFTDA tournaments, go to there and look at all the Continental Cups and the playoffs and all that other stuff.
Gives you the full schedule of all of the WFTDA recognized tournaments up to the rest of the season pretty much. So there's some good stuff. I believe for quarter 1, they tell you all the way up to East Coast Derby Extravaganza in June. And then from there, we have Continental Cups occurring August 9th through 11th. And that's in Orem, Utah for the Continental Cup North America West, hosted by Happy Valley Derby Darlings. Is that their hat?
No.
Oh, well, I was still going to say, how fancy is that?
It is fancy.
And August 23rd to 25th, the WFTDA Continental Cup North America East, and that takes place in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, hosted by Dutchland Derby Rollers. We'll bring you more of those dates shortly, but right now,
Rage Bradbury, the chamber record for Boston, going up against.
Finish it. I'm really not going to.
I'm serving up softballs here,
know,
and I feel like you're hitting singles.
Don't want to. I do not want to burn the finish it flair to a crisp.
You're not going to trend that way.
Okay, but up on one toe. Looks like Brad to the outside in the straightaway. Drawn back. And we have Finish It coming on up. And of course, Finish It does have lead. And there has been a star pass.
I want to say that's 4 or 5 in a row that Boston had until Sailor City got this lead.
Mm-hmm. So one scoring trip down for Finish It. As the pack moves into turn 2, fully extending back into turn 1. And we're seeing a penalty assessed to Aubrey Planets. Shove a seat in the penalty box. The 4 points on the first scoring trip picked up by Finish It turns into 8 on the second trip through the pack. And it is a 2-point game. Sailor City at 84, Boston at 86. Wednesday Adams, currently the jammer of record due to the star pass. And Adams fighting it out against a wall of Kaku, Capitan Barbosa and company. Defensive Quagmire presented by Sailor City. And in the back of the pack, an ever-evolving Little Something and Rage Bradbury with a drawback.
Little Something's got some defense on her mind.
So a total of 12 points coming from Sailor City. The 4 points pulled out by Adams takes Boston just 2 points ahead, but maintaining their lead 90 to Sailor City's 88.
Oh my, this could go down to the last jam.
Well, you know, the monster truck announcer says it best. You pay for the whole seat, you only need the edge.
Only need the edge.
Ain't that a fact?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. They should be half price.
Well, if folks got the discount code yesterday during the Twitch TV broadcast.
Yes, they did. They got to watch me on the Twitch TV broadcast.
Yes, and me too. So
woo-hoo.
I know, back to back. But hopefully they're enjoying that discounted watch pass right now. But not discounted, the hits on Lil Payne being drawn back to our Derby Warehouse jammer line. Her opposition is Rosetta Stone. Lil Payne going for the apex jump.
We've got a flurry of excitement over there in turns 1.5 as
Both
Boston
pivots.
lose their pivot to the penalty box.
Oh, and it appears Sailor
Both
City's
pivots
pivot.
were being bad.
Well, you know, sometimes you end up with a little extra attention with the stripe on your head.
Every
Oops.
pack needs a leader.
It's true. And speaking of leading, we have full speed ahead with the reduced line from Boston composed of Agent Mulder and Cruliat Lewis, hoping to put those brakes on Rosetta Stone. And Maul doing the shoulder dance and a hip catch, able to burn a few seconds off the clock. 4 points picked up by Rosetta Stone, putting Sailor City 2 points ahead. And Crew with the shoulder hit, taking Sailor City's jammer to the infield to the total of 6 points for Sailor City to Boston's 2. Sailor City now 2 points ahead, 94 to 92.
Props to those jam referees just now.
Woo.
They both signaled 2 in 2 different ways. One was giving the peace sign, one was saying rock and roll. I love them both.
You know, you never know. You go, oh, okay.
Absolutely.
I see that style. Thank you.
I see what you're doing, and
I
I'm
appreciate
liking
you.
it.
Yep. And currently a timeout.
Tell us some more about the WFTDA Continental Cups.
So I was able to mention the 2 Continental Cups, the first 2 in North America. However, we have an additional Continental Cup because Derby in Europe, there is so much of it and we love it. October 5th through 6th, the WFTDA Continental Cup Europe in Helsinki, Finland, hosted by Callio Rolling Rainbow. That will be the 3rd and last Continental Cup for the year. And then September 6th through 8th, the International WFTDA playoffs taking place in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, hosted by Greensboro Roller Derby. I hear that Greensboro is a fantastic bunch. And September 13th through 15th, the International WFTDA playoffs continue in Seattle, Washington, hosted by none other than Rat City Roller Derby. They're also excellent hosts. I visited them a year and a half ago for that.
Sweet.
So we'll give you more on championships, of course. But right now, the issue of the right now is Casey McLean versus Perla off the line with a 2-point game, Johnny.
2 points.
Oh, McLean swept out, though it appears a direction of gameplay, perhaps. I think that was the flip that I saw. Yes, thank you. From Il Presidente. Okay, off to the penalty box as well. Little something. Our current pivot for Boston.
Are you seeing a trend here?
Yes, I am. Though we're going to, not analyze per se, but we're just going to be casual observers, Johnny.
I think that the pivots ought to go wash their hands.
Well, we casually
Can we call a timeout for that?
The casual observation I have right now is the one-on-one blocking of Aubrey Planets up against Perla, but not enough to burn the clock from lead being declared with about 48 seconds remaining in the jam at that time.
It's a lot of work for that Red Star.
Most definitely. And Sailor City has a scoring trip down, so 4 takes them to 98, bolstering their lead to 6 points over Boston.
10 minutes and some change left in this game. This is starting to get real exciting.
Ooh, not stressful at all for anyone.
I am going to have to take my blood pressure medicine today.
Right? An additional scoring trip for Perla. That brings Sailor City past the century mark, 10-point game. And perhaps, did I see a power jam?
You
Where
do.
That jam's end due to a penalty.
It's going to be a minute
okay.
penalty as well.
Was there an insubordination addition?
Yes, there was.
Okay, just checking. So that I missed. We're seeing some love from the pivot to the jammer on Sailor City. Power start for Sailor City. And out there, ready at the helm, that would be Rosetta Stoned. Casey McLean with a seat in the penalty box. And definitely a nice conglomeration of blockers all up in the business, in the way, doing what they can, especially on Boston's behalf, to slow Rosetta Stoned. But lead is declared. Scoring trip underway.
Rosetta Stone trying to go to the outside, but she's got 2 to beat. Turns into 3. Boston locking down that defense in the front.
Monahan and Mall working so synchronized with each other to hold back Rosetta Stone, but Crew ends up being that last line of defense. They regroup. 4 points in the current jam.
Want to give some props to Wavo out there playing defense for Sailor City.
And a cutting the track penalty assessed to Rosetta Stone. So Casey McLean back at it. Boston pleased to have a power jam opportunity.
Sailor City has other plans as they lock down that defense over there in turn 2. But the announcer curse is in full effect as Casey busts through for 4 points.
Some call it a curse, I guess. Others might call it a gift. But 4-4 on this jam. Boston now at 96, 11 points behind Sailor City.
If you ask Casey, she'll tell you it was a gift. Those.
And, you know, it really is just a testament to the fact these teams are so closely ranked, 33 and 37 in the WFTDA, Boston number 33 and Sailor City 37, and an additional 4 points from Boston takes them to 100. However, a total of 5 on that jam from Sailor City places them at 108, so it is an 8-point game.
Wow.
7 minutes to go.
Just over 7.
I know. What is it? Anticipation.
We did that really, really good.
You know, not everybody would get that, so I appreciate it.
Rage Bradbury wearing the star for Boston and for Sailor City. It's
Finish it.
That's what I'm talking about. We've got a flurry of penalties, a slew of penalties, if you will. Forearms, clockwise blocking.
Well, it's almost as if Oprah is handing out penalties. A penalty for you, a penalty for you. And everyone's just looking at her like, no thanks.
Boston lost a jammer and a pivot at the same time, basically.
And the expert one-person wall of Wednesday Addams really just doing her part to hold back, finish it. Does burn a few seconds. Unfortunately, not enough. So we will see here, finish it coming around, adding 4.
Rage Bradbury.
AKA Brad. I like to say people's names, sing them, so.
Is out of the box and back into the fray. I was like, yeah, you are on stream, but don't give it away to the house. I caught myself. I had
Good job. I saw the pause.
I had the patience there.
And that's why I sang Brad's name. I got you.
Man, thanks you for looking after my back. You know,
Hey.
patience is a character defect that I have to work on every day.
Oh, I am the least patient person possible, and I'm highly caffeinated. Watch out.
Ooh.
So,
Speaking of caffeinated,
4 points up, 4 finish it, and Francesa to the penalty box for Sailor City. That's their pivot. And Aubrey Planets and company at the front of the pack putting in work against Finish It.
meanwhile, while we've been talking, I think a couple lead changes happened.
Perhaps those 16 points so far for Sailor City. We'll see if it increases. No, 16, so matching the top scoring jam, which both teams are tied for. There have been a total now of 3 jams with 16 points apiece.
Sailor City with a 24-point lead at the moment with 4:30 left in this game.
Okay, we have an official timeout. So
This official timeout brought to you by?
well, we're still talking about the 2019 WFTDA postseason.
Woohoo!
That's right. So we've talked about the Continental Cups. We've talked about the WFTDA International Playoffs.
Where is Champs?
Well, that would be none other than Montreal, Quebec, Canada, hosted
Woohoo!
by Montreal Roller Derby, who is represented here at the
Montreal
Big O.
is here at the Big O.
They are. So we have the new skids on the block, you know, in full neon attire, present at the Big O this weekend. But they are hosting the International WFTDA Championships November 15th through 17th. Make sure you visit WFTDA.com/events for more details and to find out when tickets go on sale. Okay, something we don't want to miss in addition to the playoffs and championships. Small Fox versus Roja off the Derby Warehouse Jammer line.
Absolutely, you don't want to miss this.
Jam is on. Everyone is running amok, but a power jam in favor of Boston. That was a forearm call on Roja, which, in case you are not familiar, Roja is red in Spanish.
No doubt.
Yes.
I like red.
Yes. Well, so does Sailor City. I mean, it's part of their color scheme.
Tiante Dan trying to do that jammer takeout of Small Fox in that previous pass.
Small Fox taken to the outfield in
Kaku.
turn 4.
Both jammers into the action on the track as the penalty was served. It was just a flurry of action, but coming out unscathed is Small Fox with 4 points on that pass. Meanwhile, Roja fights through on the initial.
And in case you didn't know, Smitochondria really wanted the jam to be called, because sound is a factor in the venue, we know. So you have to be particularly loud. And,
Coach Smite was emphatically loud.
And he was able to get the point across. So it's effective. 5 points up for Boston takes them to 105 to Sailor City's 124. And it is a team timeout called by Boston. And if you are out there watching our live stream for the Big O, International Roller Derby Tournament, please feel free to use the hashtag BigO2019. And just like our buddy PR Mageddon did,
PR.
Hey PR, and he said that we're a great combo and we're 2 of his favorite people.
Oh,
Thank you.
Getting some love from Louisiana.
Yeah, you know.
Gotta dig that. Jazz Fest is going on right now, by the way.
Oh, very nice. I'm sure that he has his hands full.
So peace to all my buddies out there at Jazz Fest.
Having a good time. And speaking of a good time, we are getting back to the track.
Casey.
Yes. So intense.
It was. I'm trying to build excitement. There's
like
only
it.
2 minutes and 35 seconds left in this contest.
I mean, I think that it's built on its own. Rosetta Stone jamming for Sailor City. No point, no penalty.
Lead jam failed to be awarded yet.
And it appears that we have a star pass to Romo for Sailor City, who has been taken to the lines by Emily Nolan and Wednesday Adams, saying, hey, let's go. Let's do the thing. Though there was a high block assessed to Romo, so a power jam in favor of Boston Massacre and Casey McLean.
This jam will go for 1:14.
4 points up on the first scoring trip for McLean. And what a second trip it was. A total of 8. That narrows Sailor City's lead to 11 points.
Oh my, look at what we're seeing.
Well, we know Sailor's defense, they were working the drawback. And as you can tell, this pairing has drawn a great deal of attention in-house. We are appreciative of the audience here as well.
Yes, we are.
Planets and Nolan with the laser focus as well is 120 Electrocute, also known as Volt. Planets on Romo, though it does show that there was a cutting the track penalty assessed to Nolan. So we will see how this turns out. 12 points for Boston, taking them to 117. Sailor City at 124. 7 points separate the two, and currently we have a team timeout for Boston Massacre.
This timeout's brought to you by
Well, in this case, it is brought to you by
Derby Warehouse.
Yes, it is Derby Warehouse, but I was also, I know we've talked all about Derby Warehouse when we've mentioned the Jam Line sponsor.
Yes.
So they are the place to get all of your Derby gear needs met. Free shipping, free returns. Who doesn't like that? I like free.
Awesome Derby Warehouse.
Yes, but in addition, we'd like to thank Eugene Weekly. They are Lane County's local alternative free newspaper. Your insight into Eugene can be found online at eugeneweekly.com. And Eugene Weekly, you know, local,
And vocal.
Local vocal. I like it. I thought that was great. And way to go. We both remembered that from track 1.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Memory like a steel trap up there.
Yes.
So, in what could be the last jam of this game?
Ooh, yes.
Where are my Derby fans at?
I'm pretty sure that everybody, whether in the room or not, are here for this.
Small Fox wearing the star for Boston. And for Sailor City, it's...
Finish it. Though we do hear the representative pinch, pinch, pinch from Boston. There is a power jam for Sailor City as Small Fox to the penalty box. We will see how Boston's defense able to lock it down on finish it. The lead is obtained.
Of course, that is the unofficial final. We're going to wait for the end of the official review. But as it stands right now, Sailor City will be victorious should it stand the way it is now.
True, but the official review, which of course deserves its due, we will await anxiously the outcome.
And while we're awaiting the outcome, we want to take this opportunity to thank all the volunteers out there, all the photographers, all the medics, everybody that helped us put this production on the table. Our production team.
The production team.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have a production team member operating camera in full Ray cosplay because, hey, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
I mean, I love
Happy
me some Star
Derby
Wars.
Day.
Yes, Happy Derby Day. Or Cinco de Mayo Eve for some.
Absolutely, Cinco de Mayo Eve.
I mean, personally, for me, I'm just like, hey, Catterday. Or may the 4th be with you.
Happy anniversary, Dan and Darla.
Dan and Darla?
Dan and Darla celebrating an anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, how very sweet.
And we're still waiting for that one whistle.
So I know we talked about the WFTDA recognized tournament being the Big O International Roller Derby Tournament. So there's something else going on this weekend, I do believe.
There is. That is put up your toques. And what else? Oh,
well, did you know?
Yeah, that's just a toque.
Do you know what a toque is?
I do not.
Okay, so Put Up Your Toques is hosted by Tri-City Roller Derby, and a toque is a reference to a hat, like a winter hat, a beanie hat.
Okay.
So I learned that thanks to Sociopath, one of our Derby Twitter friends.
There's our rolling whistle.
But that's going on this weekend. So lots of Derby happening on streams for all of the folk. But it does appear that official review is underway still, according to the clock, though it just may not be updated. We will wait.
Well, I heard the one whistle. And I want y'all to make some noise for the victorious Sailor City Rollers.
So just to be clear, and congratulations to Sailor City Rollers All-Stars. The official review. Boston was seeking the forearm call on their jammer to be rescinded. However, officials found that it was warranted. Since it was awarded, it was served, and another jam would not go on. Game has reached its conclusion. So 124 Sailor City, 117 Boston Massacre, and Boston Massacre getting some love with their high fives right now. Hard fought game by all. And we encourage all of you to make sure that you stay with us here at the Big O 2019 International Roller Derby Tournament for all of the forthcoming games, as we have many more games tonight and one more day of Derby tomorrow.
Whole slate of games tomorrow.
Yes.
Man, I can't wait.
1, 2, 3 days of Derby on 3 tracks. I mean, more bang for your buck. How can you get
Absolutely.
that?
Congratulations to Sailor City on this victorious game today.
Yes, and that was a big deal for them. So the pairing of 33 and 37 ended up working out for 37, but again, so close for either. But
Absolutely.
it has been a pleasure, Johnny Pepper.
It has. Thank you, beautiful.
Yes, and we will see you soon. Have a fantastic day, and stick around for our next game.
Peace, love, and derby.